Howdy, welcome back to Après-Shred. Today's video is a repeat of the Western Dawn video with the addition of a ride along the lake. We're going to use the trails Crisscross and Feral Hog to do this. If you've already watched the Western Dawn video, you can fast forward to about minute 15 and from there see how to access the lake and change up the ride a bit. This is the preferred route and it makes the overall ride around 9 miles. Here at Après-Shred, we like to show you every mile of the trails we ride. So we're going to speed through some of the basic sections and we're going to focus on technical aspects and notable features and most importantly, vista points. The connector trail follows Highway 16 for about 1/10 of a mile before heading north into the Wedington woods. You'll begin a nice descent into the valley and wrap around to a trail fork. This is the access point for the Western Dawn Trail. Because it's a loop, you can go right or left. Today we're going to go left or clockwise. Regardless of which direction you decide to go, you will begin the Western Dawn with a punchy climb. About 150 feet in overall elevation through a series of berms and smooth or rocky straightaways. About a mile in, you'll see a trail spur to your left. You can take the trail spur and it will connect back up to the main trail in less than a mile. However, we're going to stay up top or to the right on the main trail. Today is a warm winter day in Northwest Arkansas, and Lake Wedington Recreational Areas is one of our favorites. It's located west of Fayetteville and east of Siloam Springs. The trail systems are built around a beautiful 100-acre lake. The Western Dawn Loop is directly north of the main park. The main trailhead is across the street from the Wedington boat launch and camping area. As we mentioned in the previous Wedington video, the woods are teeming with woodland creatures like squirrels, armadillo, deer, and occasionally the fully camouflaged bow hunter. During hunting season, be sure to wear bright colors if you're headed out early. The great thing about Western Dawn is normally there aren't too many hunters out on the main hiking and biking trail. However, it's always good to take precautions. Once you're through the initial punchy climbs and descents, you'll flow into a long, meandering climb. It's not a very steep grade, and it's complemented by 2 flowy downhills with plenty of berms. They're a lot of fun. You're going to ride about 2 miles from the connector trail fork to the first major trail fork on the Western Don. If you're just wanting to get your feet wet on a blue trail, it's a great out and back, as it's just under 5 miles. We have another video that features the Twin Knobs Trail, or Twin Mountains Trail. It's around 6 miles. It's rated black. The connector trail takes you out to the Twin Mountains trailhead, and we'll show that connector in a future video. For today, we're going to follow the Western Don through a meandering and sometimes punchy uphill, and then we'll flow through 6 shallow valleys, or hollers as we call them in Northwest Arkansas. And as we flow through the woods, here are some basic logistics about the trail. There are 2 different connector trails, and it can be a bit confusing as to whether you're on Western Don Loop or not, because it doesn't flow through either parking lot or trailhead. So it requires a connector trail or a short spur trail to actually get on the loop itself. From the Lake Shore or the Lake Hiking Trail parking lot, which is a large gravel parking lot right on the lake to the south side of Highway 16, you'll take a connector called Crisscross. You'll go across the street. There's a clearly marked crosswalk. And once you're in the woods, you'll see a series of signposts that point you towards the Western Dawn. Today, we started the trail at the main trailhead, and we used a connector called Twisted Pines. If you are relatively new to mountain biking or haven't yet ventured away from a green level trail, then the Western Dawn is a great trail for you. It's just technical enough to be difficult or moderate, but not so technical that it will become an epic hike-a-bike event for beginners. It has rolling, punchy hills and subsequent rolling downhills that are a lot of fun. The scenery is absolutely beautiful in the early spring and late fall, when everything is either turning green or coming into bloom, or the bright Ozark colors are in full array. Thanks to our friends at OORC, the Ozark Off-Road Cyclists, and to the various NICA mountain bike racing students, the trail is usually and almost always in great condition all year round. It's very well maintained, and it allows you to focus on the riding. As you work your way through a series of different shallow valleys or hollers, you'll find that they get more difficult as you progress in the clockwise direction. The descents become steeper and the ascents become harder. If you're new to Northwest Arkansas or just visiting, Lake Wedington offers a variety of activities outside of just mountain biking. There's cabins, camping, hiking, fishing. It's great for kayaking and has a beautiful spillway as well. As we climb our way out of the second to last holler, you'll find it gets very steep. Then you'll flow around into the final big descent. Geologists and local historians, as well as Lake Wedington interpreters, refer to this climb as the Mac Daddy of the Western Dawn. As you get into the straightaway, prepare your gears. You'll have a nice sharp turn on a flat, bermless curve and immediately begin climbing. I was almost successful today on my climb out, except I stripped my hub, and it made for an adventurous rest of the way out. Once you've pulled out of the final holler, you'll go through a couple small berms and begin a descent Today, as we come into the berms, we are going to go left at the trail fork and not right like we did in the previous Western Dawn video. We're going to follow a trail called Crisscross and a separate trail called Feral Hog. The Crisscross Trail meanders through the woods and has a series of small rollers and kickers. It follows Highway 16, and ultimately you'll need to cross to get onto Feral Hog and see the lake. Once you cross the road, the biggest trick with Crisscross and Feral Hog is that the berm that puts you onto the Feral Hog trail looks like a small kicker. There are a lot of trail signs near the berm, but pay attention. You'll go about 1/10 of a mile in, speeding along. You'll see a kicker out in front of you. Be sure to use it as a berm. It's a sharp left turn back into the woods to get onto Feral Hog. Feral Hog will wind its way through 2 short and tight haulers and a nice punchy climb back out. Not only do you get a lake loop with Feral Hog, but one of the best things about this trail is coming up in about 2/10 of a mile. You'll open up onto a small access road. You'll need to keep your eyes open because the trail veers back off to the left. If you stay on the access road, you'll just end up by the dam and can get back on Crisscross. In this tight turn, you have 2 lines, a higher and a lower line. I'm going to take the upper line with a steep roller. You just open it up, let your bike do the job. You'll roll through a nice shallow valley and don't even have to pedal up the punchy climb. You're going to go to the right. The dam goes out in front of you. You're going to want to take another right off of the dam, and you'll see the lake open up before you. This is one of the prettiest sections of this trail. And normally, I would say when you're riding Western Dawn, always take Crisscross and Feral Hog. It's so much better to get to see this beautiful view. As you are taking it all in and enjoying the lake and the forest across the lake, remember, there are a lot of hikers and there are a lot of people fishing out on this trail. You'll want to keep your eyes open. As I mentioned earlier, on my climb out, I really messed up my hub. So I'll speed through some sections, but you'll see me having to do some quick repairs as I get back out of this trail. Such is life, and you know what? With a view like this, it's totally worth it to have a few mechanical failures. As you come to the final section of this trail, it opens up into the broad gravel parking lot I've referred to in earlier videos. This is a great place to throw a camp chair out and take in the lake, or you can hike back in easily to a few of the vista points we saw earlier. You'll see signs for pedestrian and bike crossing as well as markings in the road. All you need to do now is cross the road, get back on the Crisscross connector or trail spur, look for signs for Western Dawn, and veer to the left to get back on the loop. You'll flow around a valley, and if you're slow like me, you'll get passed up by some younger riders. You'll know you're on the right trail because you'll see a tire hanging up high in a tree. We're not really sure how it got there, but rumor has it Western Don threw it up there before disappearing into the Wedington woods. The creek crossings are remarkably dry in the winter and summer. In the spring, as you cross through some of these, it can get up to about a foot or two deep. Once you've crossed your final creek crossing, you'll begin a long and sustained climb back out of the valley and ultimately to the connector loop. It's only a few hundred feet, but it can feel like it goes on forever as it winds its way in and out of more hollers. Unlike the Twin Mountains or Twin Knobs Trail, this section isn't too rocky and it isn't too rooty. You have some small rocks about the size of a golf ball or a baseball, but no slabs. You don't really have to pick a correct line. You just follow the trail and let your bike do the work. As you've done your climbing and you're now high up on the ridge, as you begin to wind through one of your final corners, you can look to the south or to the left and see beautiful Lake Wedington below. This is a vista point that is totally invisible during the summer when all the leaves and underbrush are at full growth. During the winter, it's an advantage of getting out and riding when it's cold. You'll begin to head back in, and you'll begin a descent back down to the connector fork. There are 2 or 3 punchy little climbs on this descent, but if you have enough speed and momentum, you really don't have to do any hard pedaling. After a good rain, this section can wash out and become pretty rocky. I would say it's one of the harder parts of the trail. Now we're going to go left onto Twisted Pines, and we're going to go back to the parking lot. Remember that smooth, fun descent you had when you started the trail? You now get to climb that back out towards your car. But take courage, it's only about 0.2 of a mile. Once the trail flattens out, you'll head towards Highway 16, follow it along to the parking lot. As mentioned in previous videos, Lake Wedington Recreational Area is kind of out in the sticks between Fayetteville and Siloam Springs. We recommend grabbing a bike rack amber before your ride, as well as your camp chair. Head about a half mile east down Highway 16, pull into the gravel parking lot, take in the lake and a cold one. Thanks for joining us, and shred well, my friends.